Hey guys, welcome back. So we're going to do something a little different today. We're going to concentrate on fall. But we're going to do a little sculpting today. And I don't know. I want to make some earrings, but I want to show you how you can make them different ways too, not just for earrings. It's not an original tutorial. I'm sure everybody makes these from time to time, but just in case you haven't, we're going to start with a leaf today. Okay, and I'm using just olive green. So this is straight olive, this is a little olive with black, and this is some olive with yellow. Just to make like a leaf. Now, whether or not I'm going to put veins in it, I don't know. I probably will. But I'm going to try two different ways of doing this. Just a couple more. I'll have this all nice and blended. And then I'm going to stretch it out. Okay, so we got something like this. Now I can roll it up. I don't need all of this, so I'm wondering if there's any way that I can do this and kind of make two leaves out of it. I don't know. We're going to try it. We're going to do the best that we can here. So we're about 1.5 or so. So I'm just going to cut it somewhere around there. Okay, and this one we're going to make into a fan fold. I'm making this leaf just for this project. So I'm going to try and make some pumpkins. And I made a couple last night, and I put some of my other leaves on it, and they don't look like they belong. So that's why I'm trying this. But two, really there's no pumpkins with leaves. So I need to make a stem instead. But again, you're talking about art, you're talking about polymer clay. You can make your pumpkins look any way you want. So I may end up keeping my leaf here. Okay, so I could either, instead of making veins, right, I can just put one dark vein right here in the middle, okay, and just kind of fold it twice. So let me do that real quick. Okay, so that's just that's basically just the fan fold stretched out. I'm just going to take this little tiny piece. Actually, if I do put regular leaves on that one, I'll go a little bit more. And we're just going to take that black with it. Alright, so much to do today. I am heading out to Laughlin. So I figured, since I won't be here Sunday, kind of get a couple videos up before I go. Okay, so that could be dark enough, that's fine. Okay, so what we could do, and this is at a number 4. I think that's fine. No, you know what? It's so small, I'm going to make this at a number 5 and lay this in the center. Because it's not a really big leaf, and I am going to be reducing it even smaller. So just a quick way to make a leaf, right? Okay. cut that in half. All right. And just put it together like that. Okay. And then you would just reduce this as small as you want. And I think on this one, I'm going to roll this one up. And this is going to be a squared triangle, but I'm going to round off the edges as we go. Okay, so we're just going to round this. I'm only going to need a little bit of this. If I decide to use it. I don't know yet. Alright, so just cut it in the middle. So basically you've just got a little bit of a leaf. Like that way. I'll move that over there. And this one, I'm going to try and stretch this just so I can make it as thin as the olive. And if it falls apart like that, that's okay. I'll just smack them back together right there. Just going to cut off a little bit right here and just add it to the side. But it really doesn't matter because our sides get all icky anyways. Okay, just gonna push it down really small. Okay, and then we're gonna take this black or this dark green, and we're just gonna make our petals, or not our petals, our veins. Yeah, we've had a lot of fire engines. We had a fire about half a mile from us yesterday. And literally all day, all we heard was sirens. So they kept that from spreading too far. But it is windy out there again. So I don't know if we're in for the same thing today or not. But yeah, it's a little crazy out there. Okay, I have this set at a number 5 for the other one. But I think I need to go a little thinner. So we're going to go to a 6. Because it just seems really thick. Had grandkids over all day yesterday. And yeah, today is just got to get laundry done, get packing. Am I feeling any better about the trip? No, not really. I'm a little nervous. But I get like this no matter what. It's just, I haven't been to this area of of Vegas, or not Vegas. It's still Nevada, but it's like right on the border. If any of you know where Laughlin is, you know what I'm talking about. But it's like on the border. It's just crossing the border from California. You get in there and basically you're also passing Arizona at the same time. So it's right by, God, what do I want to say? Where everybody would understand. It is just passing the Colorado River. So you have Arizona, you have Laughlin, Nevada, basically right across the street, which is right over the river, would be Bullhead City, Arizona. You're also about 40 minutes from Lake Havasu in Arizona. And you pass through Needles, California. So if any of you know desert, that's basically what we're traveling from. And the big issue I had was it's really nothing out there. On the way to Vegas, there's nothing out there. There's a couple more stops. You know, you'll get some stores and some restaurants in the middle of the drive, where on this one, there's really nothing from here to there. And it's about, I'm going to say it's about almost 4.5 hour drive, so yeah. But we're just going to psych ourselves up. I mean, people drive that highway, which is Highway 40, all over the country. They can do it, and I know that I can do it too. I just have to set my mind in a better way. I can also medicate myself if I have to, and that way I'll at least be calm. But this is something that I go through every trip that I take. It's just I hate the drive. I hate the drive. Get me there and I'm fine. I just hate the drive. So, I'm going to get all that done today. Prepare. Grab some munchies for the drive. And we should be good to go. Alright, I know I have 3 here. So that's got to be number 1, number 2. That's got to be number 3 right there, I'm assuming. I think so. Alright, so that was pretty easy too. Okay, so let's talk about the pumpkin. Especially if you're heavy-handed like me. The biggest issue I have is the form, staying the form. So since the other day we made all those 4th of July stuff, and most of it was translucent and color, that I'm going to use a translucent base for this, just because translucent seems to be a lot harder than just a regular colored clay. And so I'm going to use translucent mixed with probably red and blue, and then I should be using pumpkin. I know that Sculpey Souffle has pumpkin. This is a burnt orange, which is just good enough either. You can use any colors you want. You can make some latte colored pumpkins. You don't have to go orange. It's what I have, so that's what I'm going to use. Alright, so almost done with this guy. Oop, okay, well, we just cut it in half, didn't we? So that kind of helps out a little bit. So I'm not going to go all the way as small as the other one. Let me find out how I'm going to use it. But just to show you, so there you go. Now you have just your other leaf, which I think I like a lot better than the other one. I don't know. Nope, because this is the one that I used last night. And yeah, I didn't like this. It's a beautiful leaf. It just didn't seem to go with it. So I've got both of these. Alright, so let me grab some translucent and I'll be right back. Alrighty, well, I must have used all my leftover scrap translucent yesterday. So I found a bunch of gray. So it is really nice when you can actually start using up your scraps. And I only ran this through just to get a 0 on here. Okay, so I'm going to make 2 pumpkins for earrings. And I'm going to make just one as a, I don't know, maybe a little sculpture. We'll see if I have enough of this burnt orange, but I'm going to make 3 on that one. And this has been sitting in my box, so it's pretty hard. And I only went with a 1-inch circle. They're going to be kind of small, obviously. But by the time I add the orange, it should thicken it up. So you don't want them too heavy. Now you could take the circle and just put them in the orange and wrap them up. I don't. I measure the orange that I'm putting on here. That way I know that I'm getting the same amount of clay in both of the beads. And I flatten these down because it's just easier for me to kind of cover it all. Because that's all you want to do is basically cover that gray. And I have the orange, I think, set on a number 5. I had it at a 7 on another one that I did, and you could kind of see through it. So I don't want to see through it at all. And you can see how much the pumpkins kind of grew there. Just sealing it all. Okay, and then you're just going to round them up. So the only thing with making traditional pumpkins as earrings is the stem is kind of difficult if you're going to stick something through it in order to, excuse me, in order to hang it as an earring. So you're going to have a thick piece in there. But I think I'm just going to grab a head pin, or not a head pin, an eye pin, and stick it right through the stem. So this one I'm not worrying about measuring the orange, just because this isn't going to be a set of anything. It's just going to be on its own. Okay, so we're going to just do that. And pinch the sides together. Okay. And I made those leaves just in case I like those better. Actually, I should make one more, so I can give you an idea of what both of them are going to look like. And then I can decide whether I like the leaf or the stem. But if it works out the way I want, then I'll go ahead and make a third one off camera or something. Okay, so now you have 3 kind of circles, right? So now I'm just grabbing a needle tool. And I'm going to stick a hole down the middle. And I'm making sure that I go through top all the way to the bottom. Sounded like it went all the way through, but it didn't. There's the hole right there. Okay. And you're going to get some misshape from doing this. Okay. And then I'm going to kind of make a donut shape out of these. And my hole is not center, so I may have to fill that up and get it more center. The top is centered, but the bottom is not. It's a little better. And we'll do the same with this one. You can make it into a donut shape and then put the hole in it. Alrighty, so now the fun part begins, right? So I don't go all the way around because when I do it, yeah, they don't get straight. if you know what I mean. So like most people, they'll take this and go all the way down to the circle. And that works for me on the very first one. But as I keep going, I just mess them up. So I usually just go from the top to the middle. About right there. Okay, and then I'm going to add a couple here in the center of those two. And you could even go more if you want. You can make them really tiny. Okay, so now I'm just going to do the same. And this way, I get them to the hole. So that it's even. See, just with my hands touching it and holding on to it, sometimes you lose a lot of those lines that you just made. Okay, so there's one. Okay, so we got this nice little cute pumpkin shape, right? And you can come in here and kind of clean it up. Okay. All right, so this. I always go from one side to the other each time. I think the other ones I made were just a tad bit smaller, but just for demonstration purposes, these are a little bigger than my other earrings. I had the orange, like I said, a lot thinner. Okay. Okay, so now we have two earrings. It should be pretty much the same size. Put a hole right back in there. Okay. All right, so now we have two of those. I'll do the same on the big one. This one I might put some extra lines in it. So if we want, we could actually go thinner. I don't know if I like the thinner, but you can. If I don't like it, I'll just make it into a ball and start it all over. I just want to see what it'll look like. Well, I guess that looks fine. It looks kind of organic, which is what we want. And again, the lines don't have to be perfect. All right, so now we got our big guy right there. Okay, so back to these guys. I'm gonna make one with the stem. And I'm just using olive green with some black. Why don't I have a hole in that one? So basically, I'm just going to do a log like this. And it's trying to figure out the proportion you want. I think I need to go just a little smaller. Okay, and I want to make sure that I have the same on both. So it might be a little bigger. And you're just going to set this right on top. Now, if you're just making this like a sculpture, then you can do all kinds of stuff with this top. And what I mean by that is you can twist it and turn it. Okay. And then probably a scissors would work a lot better doing this. But we're going to cut that top right off. Okay. So it kind of looks like a pumpkin and the way it's cut off. Okay, so that's one way of doing it. You could even draw a little face on it if you want. I just want to go for a natural look. So I'm going to grab a head pin real quick, or an eye pin. And if I can find some copper eye pins, that would probably work better. Or even brass. Or I might have to make my own. Which I don't like doing. Because I'm not very good at it. So I get all my eye pins and head pins normally from Fire Mountain Gems. I'm going to go about right there. And I have some Poly Clay today. It's been sitting in my cupboard for a very long time. I don't know if this is sealed. Nope, it sure isn't. Okay, well, we got it now, right? And we're just going to wrap this in it. Whether or not it'll stick in here, I don't know. And I'm going to just carefully put it through the stem. Okay. Okay, so that's one way of doing it. So the other way you can do it is you can add the leaves. You know what? We're going to make that one like this one, just in case. Okay, we're going to go a little smaller on this one. Now the glue that's on my finger is sticking everywhere. So I'm going to try and make this as close as I can to the other one. I'm just going to look at it. Okay, and then just like the other one, I'm just going to snip off a little bit of the top. It's close enough. Let's go a little smaller. That doesn't make sense. Well, it would, Irene, if you snip off a little bit of the top, eh? Then it leaves you with this huge hole instead of a tiny one. And it still does not want to come out. I find that rather interesting. And that's because there was no hole in the lid, so maybe I took that off wrong, I don't know. Can't say I've ever seen anything like that. And I've never used poly clay before. Okay, so now you've got that in there. Okay, and then before I quit on these, I'm going to use some water and just get all this poly clay off of me here. Okay, and then I'm going to come back in here. That was my dog moaning. And I'm just making some lines. And what I'll probably do after it's baked is kind of put some acrylic black or brown paint on it and give it like an antique look. I think I like this better. Doesn't drag it as much. Do that on the bottom too. Alright, so now we have like this little scratchy up little pumpkin. Do the same on this guy. So I'm going to go all the way up and down. I heard a helicopter, and that is a fire engine driving by. So hopefully we don't have another fire today. They've been on their toes, but boy, they're getting these fires out quickly. So I'm really happy for that. Fire season's usually July, August around here. Okay, so there we go. So there are 2 regular pumpkins, okay? So those will look better when they come out of the oven. So on this one, okay, you could either use the stem. You know what, I'm going to make this a little bigger. I don't know what I'm going to do with the big one. I may just put leaves. Again, I know that there's no leaves on the pumpkin, but so I'm not going to really put this down too much yet because I just want to show you. So you can take that, right? So you want that top really thin. Okay, and then you can kind of like twist it around like that. That's a little big. That's a little small, but you get the idea. Okay, and just fold it over like that. Okay, so you could do that. Just kind of like fold a little stem over. Obviously, that's not perfect, but you know, you can wrap it around itself. It looks like a claw. You know what I mean? Just kind of like that, wherever it flows to. You could even do it like that. I mean, there's all kinds of different ways that you can do that. Or just take it really thin here. And this is a bigger pumpkin, so I can make a little bit thicker on these. Okay, and you can come back up here on the top, you know, and just I don't know, you can kind of let it flow. Okay. Makita, are you dreaming? Hey, Kita. Sorry, she kept kicking her back leg against the wall, and I've never seen her do that before. So it kind of freaked me out a little bit. So this one's a little thicker. Okay, just thin out that end like that. I try and just let it flow wherever it will, but not look like it's forced. Okay, so as you can see, that looks forced. Okay, we're just going to lay that one down because that's all that one wants to do. And we have one more. Okay, so you can have that to where you can have leaves. You don't have to have leaves at all, okay? Now with this one, you can still put the stem on top if you wanted to. I don't know if I'm going to go crazy on that. And I think I'm going to put the lines in before I even attach it. Got a better idea. Okay. We're trying to get it in there. So, takes a little practice making these. So again, I could make it a short stumpy thing. I don't know if I like that or not. If I make it a stump, it does look more like a pumpkin, but alright, so we're going to leave that just stumpy and all. Just going to fix my lines a little bit. And drop it a couple of times. Okay. I think that could have been a little bigger. I don't know if I can do that now, but we're going to try. And And we'll cut off the top like we did on the last one. I just feel like this one's got to be a little taller. Okay, it's just a little snip right here, and I'm using my good wire cutters. Alright, okay, so you can make a pumpkin like that as well. And I'm going to go grab a little bit more of the burnt orange, and I will make a flower. I found some of the translucent I had left over. Okay, so I will be right back. Alrighty guys, so this one was one circle, and this is at a number 6. So we've got this a little thinner. Oops, I want 2 of them. And the same, I'm just gonna plop that anywhere in the middle here. Doesn't have to be perfect, all you're doing is sealing the inside. Looks like a pie. So sometimes when you make the lines on the pumpkin, you start seeing the color underneath it. But if you use the acrylic paint when you're done baking to give it that antique look, then it's going to cover whatever color was underneath. So again, we're going to make a pumpkin, but I'm not going to put the holes in just yet. So we're going to flatten that out. And now, if you go straight down, right, you should get it in the center. I don't know why I have such an issue with getting my things to line up here. But this one looks much better. Alright, so back to this. And I see an air bubble or something sticking from this side. Okay. I'm coming off the bottom side. I want to do more sculpture. So the donut might be, I don't know, I'm not really liking this, so we're gonna redo this. And you know what, let's try it the circle way. The donut way for me is easier because I can never get that perfect circle. But we're gonna try it this way and see what happens. Okay, so this is going to be a little bit more round. You can see how I misshape it when I do it this way which is why I usually do the donut, but I might have pressed a little bit too much. But we may be able to put this in the donut when we're done. But see how your top ends up like that? That's why I usually do the donut. But we got a little bit of time, so we can try a couple different ways. Now I have a video that's going up after this that I actually made before this. So you may have the same things that we talk about. So I'm just warning you there that sometimes I make videos, I don't really like them, and then I don't put them up. And then on days like this, when I go out of town or something and I know that I need to put it up, then they ended up going on after the original one. Okay, so if you wanted, and again, we're talking about the little hanging things, you can put these on there, or again, you can leave these off completely. So like these don't have anything on them. So that way, on this one, I'm putting them on. And I always put that little swirl in there because it just, I don't know. So you know how like that? Okay, so however they lay, they lay. Do the same with this one. Oh no, that laid really nice, but unfortunately it's too close. So maybe I can get this to come down on the other side. Might be a little too thin. This little piece right here. Okay, and we're just going to do one more. I don't normally do 4. I usually do an uneven amount. See, and this is a lot thicker than all the other ones. So this is what's the hardest probably is, because you can see my lines are starting to disappear. And it's because of me constantly pressing on here. Alright, so we're just going to leave it like that. And then I'll fix the lines later. So now we come to the leaf. And this leaf is huge compared to the pumpkin. So we're going to reduce this and then decide which one I like better. So we're going to go about right there. And I'm going to do 3 cuts of these. And I'm making these really thin. Okay, so I just want to see that leaf. I'm just going to sit it down. Okay, compared to, there's the other one. And this we're just going to start pulling. Take it right from the center. Use the right side of the blade. Okay, so this is a little square. All right, so we're just going to see which one I like better. I'll try and grab it from the side and get it to stick. I'm kind of liking the regular straight ones. So that's what we're going to use here. Okay, somehow I destroyed those. I'm going to try them a little bigger as well. Okay. We're going to get rid of this smaller one. Just making the leaf a little thinner on the bottom. Okay. Then we're just going to come in here and kind of redefine our lines. Ooh, this one turned out a lot bigger than the other ones. This was supposed to be an earring size, so I don't think this is going to be an earring because it's pretty big. Okay, I'm just putting some lines in there. Well, I guess they're about the same size. This one's just a little bit more round. Okay, so this one's got leaves and stuff. So we're going to take all 4 of these, throw them in the oven. I mean, you could also make this a pumpkin patch if you didn't want them as earrings, you know, and just get a piece of clay and put some greenery down there, and then, ooh, that would be kind of cool too, you know, just take a round piece or whatever and then get a bunch of like regular green grass, you know, and poke your holes in them and set these in different spaces and stuff. And then you could take vines, take a bunch of that green and make a bunch of vines and connect them all like they're in a patch. Although I think if they're in a pumpkin patch, they'd be like, you know, you'd have some that are sideways like that. You know what I mean? but I think that would be fun to explore. Alright, so I'm going to go stick these in the oven. Actually, before I do, make sure that you're checking them. And get some of those little lines in there to make them look authentic, I guess. So I'm just going to go through here and just throwing stuff right here and there and there. And be careful that you don't do what I just did. And that was squishing the leaves. So you got to be really careful where you touch these. Alright, so we're going to put that in there. And we'll come back, put some acrylic paint on them, and we'll show you what they look like. So see you then. Okay guys, so I don't know what's going on, but my phone keeps shutting off in the middle of the video, and it's only a few seconds long. And so I've painted all of my pumpkins, and then it died, and it didn't get any of it. And then I found one that I hadn't painted, so I painted that so you can see it, and the phone died as well. So although I've already painted this, we're going to repaint it, and I'll show you what I'm doing, and hopefully this doesn't die before that happens. Okay, so all I did was take a little bit of burnt umber, and I'm using Winsor Newton, just a paint that Michaels has. Okay, and I'm thinning it out with a little bit of water. Okay, and what I did was basically went through all the little cracks and lines that we made on the pumpkin, and then wiped it off. Unfortunately, I threw the towel out because I was done with the video. So I'm just going to use a regular, like an old rag or something. I used a paper towel on the last one, okay? And that's basically it. And then I'm going to put it in the oven for about 10 minutes just to set the paint. I don't know if you need to do that, but I usually do anyways. Okay, so I'm going to go throw those in the oven, and I'll be back, and we'll put some earrings together. Alrighty guys, so we are back to look at our little creations. Okay, so this was the one with all the leaves, or the little swirly vines. These were the ones that I made yesterday. And they're cute too, but I don't know if those leaves really match with it. But it is what it is. Again, it's clay. You can do whatever you want with them. Okay, and this is the one with these leaves on them. And I still have a hole in that one as well, if I wanted to change that. And then these were the ones that I made into earrings. And I'm just going to go to this metal piece right here. And it's, oh, well, I was going to say it was pretty stuck. Then I pressed a little harder and they came out. Okay, but that's okay. Because now we can save those and use those again. Now you can have like leaves and little sunflowers hanging off of these. So I'm thinking the head pins aren't going to be good for this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some copper wire, and this is 22 gauge. But if I'm hanging something off of that, I'm thinking 20 might be a little better. Okay, I've got copper and I've got bronze, but it doesn't look like I have copper in a 20. Let me feel the difference. I think that's a 20. I'm going to try 20 gauge. I don't know if it's going to go through. And 20 gauge is so hard to wire wrap. So I'm not sure if I'm going to like 20. But I'm going to at least try it, and I'll see how it looks. This is not something that you want to use with your fingers. Unfortunately, hopefully my wrist will be okay with this. I haven't really done any wrapping, and it's the twisting that hurts. tuck that in. It's obviously not gonna, oh, guess what I didn't do? So I put that hole in there, but I didn't put the hole all the way through. So I'm wondering, I might end up messing up these pumpkins now, but let me see if I can get a smaller drill bit. So I will be right back. Because I forgot, yeah, the hole's in there, but the hole didn't go all the way through. Although I really thought it did. So, let me just check one more time. I'm going to take a big one of these. And literally, I could probably use this instead of making my own. I'm going to find where the hole went, so I might be off camera here. Just so I can see where the hole was. And I found it. And it did. Oh, yay! It went all the way through. Awesome. Okay. So, it'd be really cool is to have, I don't know, put a couple sunflowers and maybe a couple fall leaves hanging off of this. Probably look really good. Okay, so I didn't realize that these are pretty tight. These are pretty heavy gauge wire. I thought it was a lot thinner, or I would have just used these in the first place. The only thing is I might have to attach a bead. Gosh darn it. I can't twist my wrist here, so, and these are just really crappy. And these are just as bad, so you can see how they're sticking out on the ends. It's hard to find a really good tool. I've gone through Lindstrom, I've gone through so many, and have not found one that I like the best. These are Beadalon, I think. These are called Casual Comfort. They're not bad, they're just really bulky. And of course this wire is thicker. And the mushroom, or not the mushroom, the pumpkin keeps getting in the way. So I keep grabbing all kinds of different pliers. Okay, so this has only got 2 instead of 3. I just don't know how close to the earlobe this is going to sit. So I might have to add a bead to the top of that, but we'll see. But anyways, there's one. And unfortunately, for me to make these into complete earrings, I would have to find all the necessary beads to go with it. And I don't know what I want to use yet. Yeah, this is horrible. Okay, so this is only going to be wrapped around twice so that it matches the other one. Yeah, these are really wide. These days I'll get it together. Okay, so now we're just going to hold that. Take the round nose, or the bent nose, and bring those in, making sure you're not touching that green part so you don't break it off as you're doing this. Okay. Alrighty, so there are 2 of our pumpkins, okay? So let me go see if I can find some flowers, and I don't know, maybe like a flower and a leaf. You know, I've got these right here. So I can use those color leaves, or I can go darker like an olive. But a sunflower look really cool. So you know what? I'm going to check my website and see if I sell any sunflower check beads. And if I do, I'll know exactly what I'm looking for. So I'll be right back. Alright guys, so I just did a makeshift wrap on these just to show you what I got to do. But with me and my earrings, I go through so many beads to find out, you know, the perfect one. So I'm going to end up having to go back and do it again. But I am looking for some copper chain real quick, just small. And I'm failing here. Okay, I'll be back again. Okay, so I moved a lot of my chain out of my face because I was getting so much. So I kind of moved them a little too far. So now I just need some jump rings, copper. And before I turned it on, I should have had this done, but I didn't. So I apologize for that. Alright, here's some really little ones. And that's really all I want. And I'm probably going to do 2 different colors on each earring. Like maybe a, like an amber color. And then the green. But since I can't find any of those right now, we are going to stick 2 greens on the earrings. Just to show you. And then maybe I'll show you in the next video any changes I've made. So I'm basically going to put 2 chains on each one. You could even go 3. And I don't know how much I want them to hang. So I wasn't going to do this. I was going to put 2 links on, so I didn't have to keep opening it. But I'm going to go 1 short. Okay. It might be a little too short, but we'll see. I like dangly earrings, but I don't like the dangles that are really, really long. But I may need to go a little longer than this. Now, if these were regular beads, like round beads or something, I would wrap them and wrap them onto the chain itself. But these are top drilled, and I'm not really good at wrapping those. So that's why I'm adding a jump ring to those as well. And I think I grabbed the wrong side, but okay, so we're just kind of looking, and I don't know, we're going to go just 1 longer. There we go, it cut, it just didn't cut through. Okay. Do another small jump ring. I'm thinking these are 18 gauge because I can't barely open these up, which is perfect if you ask me. Looks like it's magnetized. It's just holding on here. All right, Let's try this one more time. You know, I could keep both of the greens and add just one amber one as well, which means another chain to go on it. So I don't quite know how I want to finish these. Everything's magnetized here. It's sticking to everything. Okay. And yeah, this is a really horrible wire wrap. I will go back and do them. I have some really nice ones that were gold, but unfortunately I used copper with these. Okay. Probably could have gone, oh, those are almost identical. So what I'm going to do is close my eyes and cut that one off. And go a little higher. And if I don't like that, then I'll do the same and I'll cut it again. Oh, they still look identical. I mean, they're a little different, but not by much. That is really weird. Probably because this looks so horribly wrapped. Okay, I'm going to worry about that a little later. I'm going to try and rewrap this one. I don't know if I'm using 24 or 26. I just know it's very thin. I literally hate top drilled holes. I could put a jump ring through it, but the jump ring would have to be really big. And so I'm trying to avoid that. And you want at least 2 wraps, or it's not going to stay on. It's just grabbing that piece right here. Thank goodness I have a lot of tools. Yeah, see, I'm just getting it not quite where I want it, but again, this is just a quick show. And then I want at least 2 wraps here instead of 3, so I'm just going to bring that down like that, and that way the hoop won't be so far up. Well, yeah, still a little sore, but the wrist is working much better today. I just can't grip anything. Yeah, I'm not really good at wrapping this way. I am if I'm really slow and take my time, but I am kind of going a little fast just because I got to get to the grocery store and I got to get packing here. so now let's open this guy back up. Okay, get rid of that one. Oh, really? Yep, like I said, it's just one of those days. Feels like a Friday. Oh, this is just so typical. It's always on the end of my projects. It's like making glass beads. I'm making a set of 6, and it's always the number 6 that I have to remake over and over and over again. Okay, that's a little better. So again, I will probably end up changing that. And I know that I have copper ear wires somewhere around here, but I can't find them. So right now I'm just going to throw on a brass pair just so you can see what it looks like hanging up. I have no idea what's wrong with my hands, but I'm having a heck of a time holding on to anything. Okay, and I have a hanger right here. So we're going to use this little hanger. And that way, hopefully, you can see this. Here, I've got a white little tile. See, it's still missing something. But anyways, that's your pumpkin earring. Okay, you can make a face if you want. It should look really cute. But I think I'm going to take a gold one or amber, and I'm going to put it right in the middle somewhere there. So I will be changing these. I will come back and show you them. But again, just want to show you all my little pumpkins that we made. And I hope you like that. It's a little different for me, and I do want to do a little bit more sculpture work. But there's all our little pumpkins. So you guys have a great weekend. I know that you're going to see this as the weekend ends, which is why I'm putting it up, because I will not have time to do this when I get back. So I'm doing it early. So how's this? Happy Sunday to you. And we'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Alrighty guys, so I think I finished the earring. I added some purple instead of brown or amber. So I only have one done. It's like 1 in the morning. So I really need to quit. And I'll show you on the next video the earring as it's hanging a little better. I might be able to put it up here. Hold on a second. Sorry, I gotta move you. I just cleaned my workbench and then I just destroyed it again. I just need to find something to hang it on that you can see it pretty well. I know that's not great, but I do like the purple. Alright, here. How about we just do it like this? Okay, so I think that's what we're going to do. We might add a couple more leaves. I'm not sure, but I wanted to come back and show you that. So I will talk to you later. Bye.